Brian Turner here from CCS. This morning I have with me a good friend, Alan Kampschnieder. He's the Vice President of Client Services for Nutrient Advisors. And as we continue on our quest to figure out, do we really want to do animal confinement? What's best for us, or us being the grower producer? I wanted to talk specifically about EQIP and EQIP funding. So I hear a lot about the EQIP fund program. Can you just give me and us a quick overview of the program?
Yeah, absolutely. NRCS has several great financial assistance opportunities for livestock producers. One of them is the Environmental Quality Incentive Program, EQIP, as most people know it. EQIP specifically is designed to do cost share for structural practices. So it's the ponds, it's the basins, it's the deep pit confinement barn, it's the deep packed bedding barn. It pays for structural practices. So.
Oh, okay, so that's interesting. So, it's how it affects the environment, though. How you're doing what you're doing with the nutrients, how you're laying. I assume the facility out.
Yep.
Does that have a lot to do with it? Are we talking about then runoff and?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. So every all these ponds and basins, they're addressing an environmental concern, and that's where you rank higher in the EQIP process, is because you are addressing an environmental concern.
Okay.
So most of the time with these animal confinement operations, they're addressing a water concern, groundwater
Makes sense.
or surface water.
Okay. So give me the pros and cons. When we look at it, this is part of the, you said it's a government funded program, obviously, right? So as a government funded program, we know that many times dealing with the government, there are good things about it and there are negative things about it. So as I'm looking at any type of confinement, because I assume I could apply for EQIP funds no matter what species, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So as I do that, and I'm thinking, okay, how can I fund this the best way? What are the pros and cons for me as a ag producer to look into the EQIP program?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the cons.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest con is probably timeline. Once you sign up, you are now on the government's timeline.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go through a ranking process,
Right.
And if you sign up in the fall, and you cannot start construction until you are given a contract.
Okay, now let me stop you right there, because I've heard this before. So when we talk about not starting the construction, that means, and I've heard, to see if this is true, I can't even sign a contract, or can I sign a contract for construction to potentially begin at some point?
I think you can sign a contract.
Okay.
But you can't dig a hole.
All right.
You cannot start construction on a pit, on a basin, whatever it be. You can't do anything until your government contract, your EQIP contract, is signed.
Okay, so when would I know that? You said it's done on a yearly basis, right?
Yep.
So I've applied. When will I know that I'm awarded?
Typically, the cutoff to sign up is in the fall, October, November, and then they go through a ranking process, and you will typically know. It's always gray, but April, May, June is what I tell guys.
Okay.
Depending on how many applications they got and how long it takes them to get through their
So
processes.
that's a 5 month. That could take up to 5-6 months then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so you really have to be planning what you're wanting to do, which I guess we can do that,
Mm-hmm.
but it can become tough, especially if we try to get these buildings in prior to the next fall winter season, right?
Yep. It's all got to be the planning process has to start early if you're going to go the EQIP route.
Okay.
So
All right. So when I look at that, listen. So I'm wanting to do that because of the funds. And now, you said if I'm awarded or if I'm ranked. Let's go back to the ranking.
Yep.
Talk to us about the rankings.
So everyone is ranked, and it's based on your resource concerns and how you are addressing those resource concerns. So they go through a ranking process, and the NRCS has so many dollars to allocate to feeding operations.
Okay.
Once the money's gone, the contracts stop. So they might only award 10 contracts out of the 50 applications they received. The money's not guaranteed.
So so it's ranked. I'm just going to make an assumption here, simple guy assumption that it's ranked based on the quality of environmental program you're submitting. I suspect. Will it have the best impact on the environment that you're trying to put your building in?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure that I understood. As we try to take a look at what's a good ROI, return on investment, and now then we're talking about property management then, which we'll talk a little bit later, but we're talking about property management. Where should the building go? How should it be laid out? And that might not be the best then for us, right?
Correct.
So is that something that then Nutrient Advisors or yourself, I guess, because you're the, as you told me, TSP, the technical guy, right?
Yep, I'm the technical service provider for Nutrient Advisors. Yes.
So tell me, if I came to you then and I said, hey, Alan, I'm interested in this particular barn, this particular species, but I really want to use, I want to use EQIP funds. What would you do then?
So my first, I would ask a bunch of questions, I guess.
Okay.
First, I try and figure out whether or not they're eligible. Typically, you have to be like an open lot feed yard, for example. If they're putting up a deep pit barn, they probably better be addressing a resource concern. There has to be some part of the feed yard that's either not contained or they want to close due to an environmental resource concern.
Okay.
If you just go to NRCS and you want to put up a brand new building on a new piece of ground, you're not even eligible.
Oh.
So that's where we start.
Yeah, that's a great point of information, because as we started, what we think we know, we really don't know. As I was talking to Alan a little bit earlier before we got started, that sometimes we know what my third cousin's brother said about the program, and it really isn't. Now, one of the things you said that's a con. What are the pros of the program, or what?
The pros, I mean, obviously financial assistance.
Okay.
Some of these projects can get paid pretty well to do.
Out of a percentage of wise, is it 50%, up to 50%, 75%?
It's actually so let's use a holding pond for example. You get paid on a cubic foot.
Oh,
So
okay.
they have a set rate per cubic foot.
Oh.
So I mean, it could be depending on how big your pond is. I've had guys $100,000 or $150,000, which is
Yeah, that's a fair amount of money. Yeah,
it's a good chunk.
No, so it's worth at least taking the time to talk to you about this before you even go to the government office and say, okay, here's what I'm looking for, right?
Yeah, yep. Either way. I mean,
okay.
it doesn't hurt to go to NRCS, see what they say. They have a lot of good resources at the county level,
Very good.
and then come to us, or come to us, and then we can all go to the NRCS. We would sure make that trip with you.
Okay. And I assume your company, your group would come out, or you yourself would come out, probably take a look at the property first. Say, yeah, this is a good, or no, just be based on the years of experience that you and the team there at Nutrient Advisors has, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been at TSP for 8 years, so I've done several projects. I have a pretty good wealth of experience, and as a team, we have a lot of experience through multiple sectors: swine, dairy, beef. So it really works to our advantage, and we use a common sense approach to design and nutrient management, and we absolutely listen to the producers' wants and needs. That's a big part of it.
Well, you heard common sense. We don't see a lot of that anymore today, so that's good to hear. All right, well, listen, it sounds like we could go a lot deeper into that, which we probably will in some future segments, but why don't you just give us a brief synopsis of Nutrient Advisors?
Nutrient Advisors, located in West Point, Nebraska. We're a full-service record-keeping and manure management company. Been in business for 15 years. We're in 5 states. I guess if you need to get a hold of us, our office number is 402-372-2236, or look us up on nutrientadvisors.com.
Fantastic. Thanks, Alan.
All right. Thank you.
Bet.